Welcome back to Studio A. I'm your host, Evan Litchfiss, and you're joining me for the Ithaca versus Nazareth Volleyball pregame show. Now, I wanted to pass the ball over to Cam Strong, who broke down the rules of the game.
Basic violations. First up, carry. This is when a player lifts the ball, which is not a proper pass or dig. Net violation. A player is not allowed to touch the net during a play. Illegal back row attack. Any back row players during the rotation cannot attack above the 10-foot line, and when jumping, their feet must be off the ground before the 10-foot line. Double hit. When a player contacts the ball twice in a row. Throw. A player grabs the ball and throws the ball instead of striking. Failure to serve over the net. This is when the ball does not clear the net on a serve. 4 hits. When a team hits a ball more than 3 times as a team before returning it to the opponent's side.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Cam, for that refresher, especially with the rule changes we highlighted in the show earlier. Before we send it up to Ben Light, let's talk about the possible rotations we could see from these two teams. Bryson?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big discussions that went into our prep coming into today's game is what is Ithaca going to run rotation-wise, and it was a little unknown, but coming into today, both Nazareth and Ithaca ran a 5-1 rotation in their first game with their setters, and then Ithaca's libero, Ellie Benedict's been playing in that 5 role. But Sarah, I mean, you have more of the expertise as a setter yourself. What do these rotations really mean going into today's matchup?
Yeah, so when you take a look at 5-1 in comparison to a 6-2, a 5-1 is really just going to be that sole setter setting from the front and the back row, whereas the 6-2 is going to highlight 2 setters. So with the 5-1, it's going to, for Ithaca, Wesley Slavin, she's going to dominate the setting game. And then when you look at Ellie Benedict as the libero in the 5 spot, that's the back corner as opposed to the back middle, which is the 6. So it honestly, every libero is different. Every libero picks what spot they want to play out of, and so that's her choice. She's the passing specialist, so she gets to make that call.
Yeah. Now, finally, before our show comes to an end, we need to know who you guys got. So, Sarah and Bryson, give us your predictions.
Yeah, I mean, I think if this goes the way that it should go, and it's gone the way that Ithaca's season's been going, it should be a pretty drastic win for Ithaca. But there's a big but there because of everything we saw this morning in the first matchup between Cortland and Ithaca. And then, I mean, Nazareth even went and pulled a set away from Cortland, which I don't think any of us were really expecting, to be honest. So I'm really not too sure. It could go either way, to be honest. Sarah, I don't know if you feel differently. But.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the same page as you are. I was very shocked to see that Nazareth pulled out a set from Cortland's game, but you never know. They might do that again with Ithaca, but I'm still thinking that Ithaca's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, and I think some of it, too, comes down to how well can Ithaca clean up their style of play. I know against the game in Cortland this morning, it was a little sloppy at times, and I think some of it was just, you have the excitement of senior day, like you're going out there, and you lose almost a little bit of focus in between, like, senior day versus, like, the actual game prep itself. But I think they've had plenty of time as well just to kind of settle in now. Like, I've had a long time just sitting around thinking about the game this morning, and I think they're going to have so much energy coming into the game tonight now.
Yeah, for sure. That's like one of the biggest components of volleyball is energy. The energy is good, then the play is good, and that's just how the game flows.
Yeah. How do you think the game between Cortland and Nazareth affected that?
I think Nazareth is really going to come into this pretty tired versus Ithaca's long rest.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you for tuning into our pregame coverage. Make sure to check back in after the match's conclusion for our postgame coverage. Now, let's send it up to our amazing commentary crew, Julia Guest and Evan Beard. Guys?
So much for tossing it over to us. We're here right now up in the box at Ben Light Gymnasium. I'm Julia Guest.
I'm Evan Beard.
And this morning we saw a pretty brutal game between Cortland and Ithaca. Ithaca just unable to get a win out of that. Cortland coming in strong with really good hits and blocks. yeah, I'm excited to see what they do in this game and, what Nazareth has to bring to the table as well. But we want to get you closer to the sidelines, so let's toss it over to our friend Jack Behan on the sidelines right now.
The key. Thank you, Julia. The key for this Ithaca team is leadership. And with the theme of senior night, I'm going to be showcasing 3-star seniors for this Ithaca team. Ellie Benedict, Faith Shabachier, and Anaya Prince. Ellie Benedict hasn't missed a set yet this year for the Bombers. Faith Shabachier, third in points, and Anaya Prince, right behind her in fourth. The key for these teams are the seniors. It's senior night. I expect them to have a big night tonight, and that's how the Bombers are going to be also successful come playoff time. Back to you guys up in the studio.
Thank you so much, Jack. It looks like so much fun down there right on the sidelines where all the action's happening. Up here in the box, we are looking at some stats from last weekend when IC faced against Bard. We looked at some of the stats of the hitting percentages, the kills, as we're watching them warm up right now hitting. Taking a look at kind of where their hits lie, who was taking a lead in the game, taking control of the ball. So if you look through here, you'll see our players.
So a big thing here, Naomi Klaus was dominating in that one. Not a surprise. She's the season leader in kills for this Ithaca Bombers team. You can see it visually right here. She was stellar when they faced off against Bard.
You can also see the hitters' pattern between where they hit the most and where they're receiving the kills the most often. Something we noticed with the Cortland game was our team's ability to figure out weak points very quickly, finding those back corners and open pockets. So I'm hoping we see some more of that in this game against Nazareth.
So for me, a big thing for this one, Ithaca's got to look to bounce back here. They lost their first ever match of the season earlier this morning when they were playing at Ben Light. First match that they've lost at home this year. And not only did they lose, they were swept.
I know. It really sucks, too, because it was against Cortland, which is Ithaca College's rival, right before the weekend of Cortica. So it was kind of a little bit of an extra sting right there. But hopefully it'll add to their fire in this next game, I think.
Absolutely. And you have to imagine they're fired up after how that third set ended. A very controversial call that would have tied the set up at 24 apiece. But instead, Cortland was able to take a 5-3 lead and take it.
I think one of the things I noticed was our defense was kind of lacking a little bit. I'm hoping that in this game, Ellie Benedict taking a lead in kind of the digs, the 309, can really cover all of the bases of the court and make sure that we are getting as much defense out there as possible.
Welcome to Ithaca College's Ben Light Gymnasium for a non-conference volleyball game featuring the Nazareth Golden Flyers.
So we got a great matchup coming up here. Nazareth just took a set from Cortland. Unfortunately, they did lose 3-1, but you have to imagine they took a set. They have to be riding the momentum pretty high.
Yeah, but also at the same time, they just played a game not 40 minutes ago. I know as a volleyball player myself, tournaments all day, by the second round, you're starting to feel it a little bit. Right now they're introducing the players, so we wanted to dive into a little more about the players on Nazareth, the setters.
So if we look at this Nazareth team, a lot of good players on their team. Ella Kuhl's in specific here. She is 8th in the Elite 8 the Empire 8 in assists. That is out of all of the schools there. She is the 8th best player at assisting. Unbelievable stats for someone that needs to be doing their job.
It's really exciting for me to get to watch the team play, especially with head coach Tara Stillwell taking over this year. Tara was a player on this team for her entire collegiate career and also a coach for the Volleyball Academy here, which I attended as well. And she's just an amazing person, very skilled and very knowledgeable in the game as a defensive specialist herself.
We kind of alluded to this earlier. She was very much intrigued by the new double hit rule going into effect. because setter Wesley Slavin has been phenomenal this season for the Ithaca Bombers, and you have to imagine that some part of that reason is because of the new sets. We'll show you right here. 719 assists. That is second in the Liberty League. Coming into today, she was averaging 9.99, just short of that 10 assists per set mark. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's also really important because the more the setter has the ball, the more likely it is to be an actual hit and not just a free throw over the net, because the setter has a lot more control and command over the ball and is able to give the hitters the best shot they can to take the hardest swing. So knowing that a setter is getting under that ball, getting it to hitters is really big in this game.
Yeah, and we saw it earlier. The Bombers were able to get great looks on offense, but Cortland is phenomenal at blocking. Some of their players are just some amazing blockers. They had the number 1 and number 2 blockers in blocks per set in the SUNYAC in Emma Riley and Alex Gadez. That right there is a dangerous front two to have to go against. You have to imagine with them not going against Ithaca now, they might be a little bit better.
Yeah, and also as a blocker too, that timing, it's all about the timing. It's all about reading the other player. As we noticed too, you know, the ball can look like it's going to go one way and totally take a different direction based on the hitter's quick thinking. So blocking is really about setting up a strong base, getting up as high as you can in the air, and having the strongest hands you can possible. Because we saw in the last set, a lot of points were also lost by Ithaca blocking and just getting a few touches off the block, sending it out.
Yeah, it looks like both teams just about ready to break their huddle here. Looks like we're about to get started here at Ben Light Gymnasium.
Starting with a server error. Now, in our last game, we had over 11, 12
There was 15 total
errors?
service errors.
Yeah.
7 of them were from the Ithaca Bombers, so they have to clean up their serving.
They got to clean up the serving. I mean, that's detrimental points that could have been used to win a set. So definitely hoping to see that in this game.
Another error there for the Bombers. That's a quick 2 points they've given to the Golden Eagles.
All right, setter's able to get that back up, which is great. And that's going to be a kill for the Bombers.
Great job for them to respond right there. We saw earlier today there was a lot of tied scores when they were playing against Cortland, but they weren't able to break away at all. Let's see if they can get something going here.
Another server error right off the bat. Yeah, that's. I'm hoping that that's going to clear up in this set, and that may become a priority near the middle. I will say too, our defense in the last game not as strong as it could be, so they ended up swapping in Julia Costa to take over defense during the last game. So we'll see if they do that swap in this one or if they keep with our current defensive set.
A big thing for this match, though, earlier today was the senior day for the Bombers, and it sounds like for this second match they have today, a lot of their seniors are going to be getting a lot of their playing time.
Tied up again.
Another service
every
error.
time they get a server error up here, we just turn to each other and we're like, no. It's not.
There's been so many today.
There's been so many that now it's not good for sure to have that many server errors. I mean, at this point, they've given all of Nazareth's points right now are server errors on the Bombers. And now Nazareth's doing the server errors. So it's like, we haven't seen much in this game for points except for server errors.
That is the 4th service error of this set already.
And there's only 8
total
points. Let's see. I will say, as a volleyball player myself, serve and receive is probably the worst practice thing. It's just so brutal. The ball is flying from so far away, and it changes direction so quickly in the air. There are so many different types of serves. There's float serves, jump serves, top spins, curve balls, basically. So picking up where the serve's going as well, and also where you're going to place your serve, is so critical in this game. It sets up everything for your plays and your strategy.
Ella Graper with the kill there. Also checking into the game a couple of points ago was Naomi Klaus. She was a phenomenal player earlier today. She led the Bombers with 11 kills during their 3-set match versus the Red Dragons.
Some of this is looking like doubles, but as you mentioned earlier, Evan, the double rule has allowed now for there to be a little more leniency with the setting, because typically when you set, your hands can sometimes accidentally touch the ball twice and cause it to spin. They've become a lot more lenient with that, letting it wobble a little bit, and they're more harsh on the setters in particular about the double rule. Or actually, no, the opposite. They're more harsh on the people that aren't the setters if they see it spinning. So you'll probably notice in this game a few balls that if you've played volleyball or you've watched it before, you'll think that's definitely a double, and they may not even call it anymore.
Nazareth able to tie it up right there.
Again.
All day, it feels like the scoreboard has been tied.
Just back and forth. Really tight on the net. Tip there. Caught in the net. And that's going to be 4 touches, so that is illegal play.
Bombers able to finally capitalize on a mistake. I felt like earlier today, they were the ones making all of the big mistakes. And if they want to win this one right here, they're going to have to clean up.
Number 4 with an amazing swing on the Bombers, Naomi Klaus. I don't know what that calls. All right, it's neck and neck again, 7-7.
Ella Kuehl's to serve here for Nazareth. She is their team leader in assists with 472.
I'm really interested to see the strategy in this game. I know in the last game, a lot of plays were just trying to get the ball up from Cortland swinging on Ithaca. I'm interested to see how they start playing offensively and defensively in this game, because I think they're going to switch it up from what they were doing this morning.
I think a big thing right now, 2 of the best setters in right now with the aforementioned Ella Kuehl's in there, and then with Ithaca, Wesley Slavin in there. They're both their respective teams' leaders in assists. They're going to be playing huge roles in this one.
See the serve. All right, we're getting some in now, which is good. We need that. Gonna go to the outside. Wow.
Great hit there from Gabriela Gonzalez Abreu. And right on cue, Wesley Slavin got the assist.
Nazareth unable to get that over.
2-point lead now for the Bombers. The largest lead they've had today is 3. Let's see if they can match it right here.
Yeah. Going for that deep corner, just not quite in.
Already the 4th service error for the Bombers. They've handed nearly half of their points away just by not having quality serves. You can't do that if you expect to win against a team like Nazareth.
I know. Nazareth has only 5 points that are actually theirs. The Bombers could have twice the amount of points at this point. Nice.
Right there, Faith Sabatier, the senior. Great hit there for the kill. She is 3rd on this team in kills, and she has been nothing short of fantastic for the Bombers as a captain.
And honestly, just a powerhouse player from the time she got here. I remember playing with her at the club volleyball camp that they had here, and it's terrifying to be on the other side of the net of that. I'm not kidding. She can swing really hard, really powerful, and really tactful. She puts that ball where she wants it to go, and it is hitting the floor.
A little bit of a broken play there for the Bombers. They did a great job recovering after some miscommunication. Felt like another miscommunication right there for the Bombers. The lead gets cut back down to 2. We almost had the Bombers taking their first 4-point lead of the game, or of the day, excuse me, but we're going to have to wait for now.
Again, it's Sabatier.
That's a great read right there. Saw that they were kind of selling out there, trying to get the block at the net, and just floats it right in there.
Another thing about these girls is they're up at 5 a.m. lifting and going to practice after the day, a full day of academics. I can't even get out of bed at 9 a.m. for my 9 a.m. classes. These girls are up at 5 a.m. lifting weights.
We had a service ace there from Maddie Cox, and for the first time today, the Bombers lead by 4 points. Let's see if they can ride the momentum, keep going. Tessa Grover now to serve it for Nazareth. They've cut the lead back down to 4. They're going to need to get something going here if they don't want Ithaca to run away with it.
Now that could have been out from where I'm sitting, that serve, but
Great hit there from Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu. Simply put, they just couldn't return it. Ruth Jackson gets the kill there for Nazareth. Lead back down to 4.
nice save there by number 12, Gabriela Gonzalez. Making sure to get it back over the net, even if the play is just a little off or broken, communicating to make sure it still makes it over. Communication in volleyball is such a huge factor. I mean, talking to someone, making sure that if you're not getting the ball, that someone next to you or someone behind you is, and if they aren't, then you are.
Naomi Klaus with the kill there. That's her second of this match. She had 11 earlier today, like we said, led the Bombers. They're going to need her to be fantastic again if they want to beat this Nazareth team. Little deception there from the Bombers. They did something like that earlier where they would fake the set and then hit the ball over. Worked out for them there as they're able to get the point. They lead 18-12, their largest lead of the day at 6.
Nazareth calling a timeout now, which is great for the Bombers. We're going to get a replay for you on that last point here leading into the timeout. You can see a great high set for that swing, and those tall Bomber arms just reaching up, making a huge wall. And also that angle that's inward as a middle blocker too. We sit there and we work with our hands to make sure we can make firm contact with the ball. If your hands even so much as break, that ball will fly right through. It's not going to stop. A lot of broken fingers in the process, but that's what comes with the job of being a front row blocker. So, yeah. Again, we're going to look at our outside hitter with that big block back there. Naomi Klaus with 33 digs, 3 service aces, 250 kills, and 22 blocks this season. That's going to make a big impact in the game if you think about it. 250 kills is 250 points for the Bombers.
She has 2 right now during this set. Let's see if she can keep going.
Little miscommunication there from Nazareth.
We have an ace from Ella Graper. Bombers up by 7 now. This is something we did not see earlier today, where they just had their serves. After they've started to get their serves back on track here, they've looked phenomenal.
I think, again, it's all about simplifying the game. I saw a lot of messy plays in our last game where Ithaca just was not getting that pass up, was not, communicating with each other to make some kind of play happen. I think what we're seeing now is we're seeing clear, we need to get a pass up, we need to get a set, and we need to swing on the ball. Swinging is the best way to earn points in this game. Another great block over there by 16, Anaya Prince.
Earlier today, she had a bunch of those blocks, and she was kind of up on the front lines, blocking Cortland, giving them a little taste of their own medicine. Right now, the Bombers only 4 points away from winning this first set.
Something I'll say about blocking, too, is it's so satisfying. When you see a big swing from a hitter and you just put a stop to it right there for your team, protecting your back row and defense from that swing, it is so satisfying as a front row player.
Ball hit the rafters there, and Nazareth couldn't recover. Ithaca has a double-digit lead now. They look borderline unstoppable right now.
We'll see, though. We can't let up. That's the thing. I think Cortland may have let up in the last game against Nazareth, giving them that one set that they wanted.
And another service error right there. And that is going to be the 5th service error by the Bombers in this set.
Not a good thing to be doing with only 3 points away from a win for the set, which will be their first set win of the day.
If they're able to hold on.
Yeah. Beautiful swing. If you see that approach, it's a 3-point approach where you extend your legs to try to get as much momentum and power, and that was just beautiful step by step. Just popping those hips out so you can add the swing of the hips inward, the shoulder movement inward, and then ultimately the wrist down. All of those working in tandem, you're going to get an amazing swing, and that is exactly what we saw from 12, Gabriela Gonzalez.
And unfortunately, another service error.
Not great to follow up after I
just
said how great that swing was. Not great to follow up with a service error.
That is the 6th service error they've had in this set. That is 6 points they've given away.
And also, it just feels like you're fighting for the serve, and as soon as you get it back, it's just gone. They just fought for a serve, and now they don't have it anymore. When you have the serve, you definitely have the advantage.
Yeah, and an ace there for Ella Cools, and all of a sudden, Nazareth gets a quick 2 points back. There's that deception that we saw earlier.
Nazareth, I think, is picking up on that a little bit. Ooh. Oh, yes, a swing from a setter, or outside, actually.
Great block at the net right there from...
look at that Nazareth celebration. Blocking is so satisfying. Being able to protect your teammates, being able to get up there and stop a massive hitter, especially someone like Faith Sabiet. Is that Sabiet?
And a point for the Bombers there. Naomi Klaus, another point for her. Ithaca's only 1 away from winning the set, and it would be their first set win of the day.
Evan, I want to talk a little bit about, you've watched volleyball leading up to this game, but how does it feel being up here and watching it live in front of you now? I know we've done a lot of prep for this game and watching previous Ithaca games, live stream stats, but how does it how is it live? Like, as a player, I have a different perception, but I wonder how you're feeling, seeing it play out.
Yeah, so, I mean, watching it up here is a lot different than watching it from the bleachers.
Yeah.
And it just feels like being able to see a whole different vantage point. You can see a whole lot more happening within the game. And Ithaca wins their first set of the day, 25-17.
Yeah, this is a great vantage point up here. So, we have a lot of great players on this team, and especially our seniors. As a senior myself, a lot of these girls are really important to me, and I think that they're amazing people. And here in Ben Light, we wanted to catch up with them heading into today's game. So here's Lilia McDugan with senior captain Faith Sabate.
Senior captain on the Ithaca volleyball team. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I major in physical therapy with a double minor in neuroscience and sports and exercise psychology. I try to keep the team motivated through reminding them of the little benchmarks, like the little goals that are going to achieve our big goals for the season. But I also like to keep things really light and really fun and make sure people have a positive experience associated with volleyball. We do a lot of team bonding. It's centered around getting to know each other better and just spending some downtime that's not on the court with one another. And in the end, I think it facilitates the good communication and the trust on the court. And I think once we're playing loose, when we're playing to have fun, when we're playing aggressively to win, all of those encompass what it feels like to play the best version of Bomber volleyball. And I think those team bondings and these team discussions really help facilitate that energy on the court.
So the Bombers won their first set of the day. Let's look at senior Faith Sabatier right here. 31 total blocks, 33 digs, 156 kills, and 3 assists on the season. How do you think as a senior that she plays her role on this team with stats like that?
Faith is an incredible player. I mean, it shows in the stats, but even before when she was, going through the process of recruiting here and coming to the volleyball camp, she was a clear powerhouse. Clear, and also just a great person to be around, just a great teammate. Even in that clip we saw, like the team bondings, having fun and becoming friends with their teammates. It's so important in order to work cohesively together. And I think Faith really leads the group very well. I also think she pushes and is very dedicated for the sport. And that showed even in my short time at the summer camp with her before, when we were both incoming freshmen 4 years ago. She has improved immensely, but she's always had that drive and that strength, even as a freshman here.
Absolutely. So, with the Bombers winning their first set of the day, what do you think they have to continue to do well to win another one?
Personally, I think it's defense. I mean, we saw it in the last game. Our defense was kind of lacking. I think staying nimble on our feet. A lot of times you can get stuck in one position, and I think keeping yourself low to the ground, able to get to the ball and get under the ball easier, it's going to be a game changer in this game because we have such great hitters. We have amazing hitters on the outside, middle, and right side. And as you've seen, every time we've done it, an actual swing, we've gotten a kill for the most part. We just have to support the hitters by getting a ball to our setters so that they have the best chance to swing on the other side.
I think another big thing, they have to cut down on those errors on their serves. 6
100%.
in the first set.
A little communication error there, but it's okay. It still made it over the net. Another thing, we can hear the screaming of the teammates yelling to each other, and even the ones sitting on the bench. I mean, if you're on the bench, you're another set of eyes, so they're telling their players on the court anything that they're seeing on the other side. Is it going to be a tip? Is it going to be a hit? Is it sneaky? They're trying to give their team the most advantage and yelling out to help the ones on the court.
Yeah, that was a hard-fought first point of the set there. If that's any indication of what the rest of the set might look like, it's going to be a very tough battle for both teams.
Yeah, for sure. kill by 17.
Tessa Grover right there. Quick
Yeah.
kill out of that long point. Let's see if Nazareth can turn this into something.
We got 4 people potentially able to pass this ball off the serve.
Hard hit there from Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu. Tipped by Nazareth, but they couldn't quite take control of it. Huge point there for the Bombers.
Can't take control of a ball that we can hear through our headphones slamming into the team on the other side. All right, let's see the serve from Ithaca. As we said, they've made quite a few service errors this game. So
Yeah, they had 6 errors to 4 aces. Don't usually do too well when that's a negative ratio.
and
A
right
service error.
on the right as we said that. Ah, gosh.
7th of this match, for Ithaca. They had 7 earlier today against Cortland. They've already tied that number, and they got swept by Cortland. So they have to clean up if they want to win.
Yeah. I know Coach Stillwell is probably going to be drilling some service drills this week in practice, I'm assuming, based on what we've seen today. And that's going to be out.
Just out of bounds there. And Nazareth has a lead now. It didn't feel like they were winning for a whole lot of that first set. They've got to ride that momentum if they want to win their first set against Ithaca here.
Can I also just say that being a corner ref with the flag, it is so fun but also intimidating. You have teams flying at you, and you have to watch this ball either hit the line, go in, go out, and you have to make a call on that decision. And sometimes teams cannot be happy about that. I know for club volleyball, I had to do line reffing, and it's just terrifying a little bit. Just a little bit when girls are like, that was definitely in. And you're like, no, it was not in.
Naomi Klaus checks in for Ithaca. She had 5 kills in that first set, tied with Faith Sabatier for the team lead.
Oof, and Nazareth middle just not quite contacting that ball the way she had probably hoped. That's okay, I've done that before.
Gonzalez-Abreu to serve for Ithaca. She had a couple of those errors earlier. Let's see if she can clean it up.
A nice free ball for Ithaca. I want to see how they use this. Quick with a block, but they're able to recover. Oh, right in that center. They just keep getting destroyed right in the center, in that, we call it the hole in the center of the floor.
Yeah, Zoe Tilapakis with the kill there for Nazareth. We're tied up at 4. It felt like last set they were tied pretty early, then Ithaca was able to break away. Nazareth has to keep doing these little things right if they want to stay up there with Ithaca.
Right side, cross, that's going to be a kill for Ithaca.
And it felt like that was a little bit of a mistake there from Tessa Grover on Nazareth. Like I just said, they have to clean it up, start doing these little things right if they want to keep it competitive with Ithaca.
Beautiful pass by libero number 6 on Nazareth. Madison with a J. Such a good pass.
That was Jaden Wise right there, able to get the point for Ithaca. They lead by 2 now. Great save there for Nazareth by Madison West.
Now, you would think doing a backward pass is quite easy. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to tell where you're putting the ball, and if you're putting the ball high enough to get over the net.
And a great point there for Nazareth. They had no quit in them right there. And that was probably one of the most well-earned points that I have ever seen.
I don't know, though. I think Ithaca was not on their defensive game just then. We also had a middle in the back row, which does leave a place for a little weakness in the back sometimes. So I have to disagree with you, Evan. Was that a fourth touch? We don't know.
All day, Ithaca's been running some sort of deception. I feel like that one had to have been planned with how they've been doing it.
It could also be timing, middles. You'll see that set is so short. They're already in the air before the ball leaves the setter's hands. So if it's not timed out right, it's just not going to work. And we're still tied up 6-6 for both teams. I feel like we've been doing this
Ruth Jackson
all day today.
Ruth Jackson right there blocking Naomi Klaus. Feels like for Nazareth, that was a pretty big block.
Oh. Sadly, that's going to be
just out of bounds. Anaya Prince hit that one, just couldn't quite keep it in, barely over that line. And Nazareth now in the lead. And like I said, they have to keep doing the little things right. And it feels like these last few points, they've been doing that.
Amazing dig by number 1, Ellie Benedict. We talked about her in the beginning. A ton of digs. And that was probably a really great one considering it was right on the line. Could have been in or out. And she got a really beautiful pass out of it.
That sequence, we just saw a ton of blocks from Nazareth. And we have a timeout called. Ithaca down by 2.
What? How did this happen?
So.
All right, now that we're on a timeout, let's talk about some
of the top points there from Ithaca in the set.
I would say that massive block we had early on in the set, I think that really set us up for success.
And right there, you can see it. It's Gabriela Gonzalez of Reyes hitting the
Swing.
ball hard.
There's that block I was talking about. Oh, that was so satisfying to watch.
Ithaca going to need to keep doing that if they want to take this lead back. They're down by 2 right now. Although against Cortland, it felt like they were trailing at several points, and they were able to keep clawing their way back. So you can't count them out yet.
I just don't want to see them slip at the last few points like we saw in Cortland. I felt like they were right neck and neck, and then they just let it go once we got up to 20. I don't know if it's running out of the stamina to keep fighting in the way that we are seeing them play early on. Because early on, they're coming out of these timeouts, and they're swinging, blocking, being very aggressive, and I'm not sure if it's a miscommunication near the end, but I want to see them hold out until the end of the match.
Yeah, earlier in the day for Ithaca, coming out of the timeout, they were phenomenal. They were putting up 2 or 3 uninterrupted points coming out of those timeouts. And
there we go.
Right on cue,
right
they get a
on
point
cue.
out of the timeout.
I want to see that aggression throughout this whole match, and I think that's totally possible. I think it also starts with the defense, making sure we have things to swing on. All right, let's see our first serve out of the timeout. It's going to be in. That's a good sign. Wow, beautiful block. Really tight on the net.
Great recovery there from Ithaca.
And still able to swing on it, which is great. Beautiful block. It just comes right back over. This is a great rally we have going on right now.
Yeah, it feels like this is going to be another one of those hard-earned points. Ithaca able to get it.
Yes.
And that's their second straight point out of the timeout. We're tied up at 8 now.
Yay. I love watching rallies go on because you see the intensity of the teams just pick up a bit more because they really want to win that long-lasting rally. Just more satisfaction in that point.
Absolutely. I'm sure it has to feel a little demoralizing when you go on that long rally and you're not able to come away with a point.
Trust me, I've had that happen once or twice, and it's just like we went through all this for what?
Great play there from the Bombers. Faith Sabatier gets the kill. Third straight point out of the timeout for Ithaca. Wesley Slavin serving has been a great look here for the Bombers.
All right, we still have that serve, which is really great. Beautiful back step by Nazareth, but it's going to be out.
Ithaca gets another point. Leslie Slavin keeps serving. She's doing a great job for Ithaca.
See that iPad in the back for our head coach Tara to replay for her team so her team can understand. Oh, wow.
Another point there. Anaya Prince able to get that one down in Nazareth territory. A 5-0 run out of the So, timeout Nazareth. How do you think they have to come out of this timeout if they want to be successful?
From them, it's really, I think Ithaca's starting to get their communication back together. So now I think for Nazareth, it's just going to be coming out a little more aggressive and picking up that pace and launching off the same way that that Ithaca is doing.
We're going to toss it down to our sideline reporter, Jack Behan. Jack, take it away.
Thank you, Evan. The most important games of a regular season are the league games. And for all three teams playing here tonight, Ithaca, Nazareth, and Cortland, all of them did their jobs. They all won their conferences. They will be the #1 seeds in their conference tournament playoffs in this upcoming week. For Ithaca, they will represent the #1 seed for the Liberty League. For Cortland, the SUNYAC, and for Nazareth, the Empire 8. Now, Nazareth is the only team that doesn't get a bye. They will go this next Tuesday to host Russell Sage College. But it's huge to get a 1 seed. You get home court advantage the entire way around, and Ithaca and Cortland and Nazareth will be the favorites to win their conferences. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Jack. And like he said, home court advantage is huge. Before today, the Bombers had not lost here in Ben Light. They did lose to Cortland, but they're still 7-1 on the year when they're playing on the South Hill.
I will say, as being an athlete for so many years, having the ability to have your family and all your friends, and also just the fans of your team showing up in your home stadium, it pushes you all the harder to want to take home that win, not just for you and your team, but for the fans and the family.
Great block there for Nazareth.
Wow.
Huge for them to get the point out of the timeout.
They're doing what I kind of said, staying aggressive, which is a great way to come out of a timeout.
Still down by 3, so the aggressiveness is going to have to remain a constant for them if they want to tie this one and eventually take the lead.
Wow, beautiful play there. That was definitely flying out, but that back row of Nazareth decided to take that, and it is not in their favor. Beautiful block by Ithaca College.
Faith Sabadia with the block. She's up to 6 kills now in this match. She's tied with Naomi Klaus for the team lead.
We're going to get a replay of that, please, because I love blocks. They are satisfying. They make me miss volleyball so much. Look at that. Oh, and look at that walk away. Yeah, it just pumps up the team when you're able to do that. And also, it's a little sassy, It's basically saying you're not getting across this net.
Ruth Jackson there getting the kill for Nazareth. Leads back down to 3. And it feels like the lead has been remaining around that 3 to 4 area for Ithaca. Nazareth just has to get something going here if they want to lower that.
Oh.
Talk about getting it going right there. They get another point. It's back to a 2-point lead now for Ithaca. And at one point, it was all the way up at 4. And Nazareth has done a phenomenal job responding to Ithaca coming out of their timeout.
Crazy back-to-back block.
Service error.
I feel like that's the word to beat in this game. Service error.
Only the second for Nazareth, so it feels
not as bad for them.
But we're now 1 away from 10 during this match. Ithaca to serve here.
Ooh, interesting receive. It's off that tape. When it goes off the tape, Oh, it's the worst. You think it's going to fly one way, and the tape just totally stops the ball in the air and lands it right in front of your hands. Very sad. Ooh, good serve. That's going to be a point for Ithaca. Number 21, Ella Draper, getting that point.
Ithaca gets the lead back up to 3. It feels like they have to keep that lead.
They got to keep this lead.
And they got to keep it pretty comfortable for them, because we saw towards the end of some of their sets against Cortland, they'd get a little bit too complacent, and that's when they start having issues.
They just let it slide and slip right out of their hands.
Great response from Nazareth.
I think another thing, too, is these girls have been playing all day volleyball. I mean, getting here at 10 a.m. and going all day nonstop. It's definitely going to be important for Ithaca, I think, to take the matches as early as they can, so not to play into the longer games. It's going to get harder on the body and the focus the longer they're playing this game. So the quicker they can take it home, the better.
Great hit there from Jaden Wise. Buries that ball in the corner.
Yeah.
Gabriela Gonzalez is ready to serve now.
That's a favorite spot for the IC Bombers, as we saw this morning, that deep back pocket corners. But it works. I mean, do what works. Beautiful swing by 17 for Nazareth. That's going to be out.
Point for the Bombers, lead back up to 4. They're going to need to keep playing with this level of aggressiveness.
Keep going. Don't give up. Keep this aggression. The crowd has definitely doubled since this morning as well. Over here in Ben Light Gymnasium. Families, friends.
Another point for Ithaca. They got an ace right there. They have been on fire in this one. That is their 5th ace of this match.
Okay, so at least they're making up for the service errors and some aces. That's good to hear.
A lot of blocks there for Nazareth. That's the second point of this set, where they have been blocking Ithaca at the line, not giving them anything. And it's points like that that has them really in this, because they could be down 6 right now if they weren't getting those blocks, but instead only down by 4.
Good block by Nazareth. A little shake on the net, though. Don't know if it's the ball, but the ref's not calling that, so.
Some deception there from Ithaca. They were seeing that they kept getting blocked, so they changed it up a little bit right there, able to get a point. 1 away from 20 now.
Which is so important in this game, too. A lot of what goes into playing defensively is reading your opponent, figuring out their patterns very quickly. As we're talking about up here, like, we've seen these players play, we're remembering, oh, this player does this really well and this really well. The players themselves are also remembering that, especially when it comes to blocking. They're remembering where they're hitting. They're remembering if they tip a lot. So in this game, a lot of it is about figuring out how to switch it up on your opponent and figuring out also where your opponent's weaknesses lie very quickly and changing your strategy.
Yeah, So for Ithaca, we're seeing that Maddie Cox is in the rotation. She wasn't exactly in the rotation earlier today, but she's in there now. She's making a huge impact.
And throughout the season, we've also seen that, our other setter has been the main player in this game, Peyton Miller. But now we have Maddie Cox stepping into the ring, giving us some sets here.
Yeah, I mean, she's second on this team in assists with 130. And when you figure that Wesley Slavens had so many, right here, she's had 719 this season. It's great to have 2 people that you can consistently rely on to get you assists. Just 2 people that can set the ball in a great spot for you. coming out of the timeout, Nazareth able to get a point. It feels like whoever calls the timeout, they're able to come out strong from that timeout. They're going to need to go on a little bit of a run here, down by 5, with Ithaca only 5 points away from winning the set.
Now, another thing in volleyball is if the setter takes the first hit, since you only get 3 hits, typically the setter takes the second one. But if the slight chance that the setter ends up digging the first, typically the libero will take the second hit. This way, the other players know, get out of the way. If the setter's got it, the libero's got to get it. And if everyone else has got it, then the setter's got to get it. You kind of stay out of their way so that they can do their job. And if they're digging, then we know libero's up next.
Yeah, so speaking of setting, Wesley Slavin served that one for Ithaca. Ithaca's going to get the point here. They're only 4 away from winning their 3 away from winning their second consecutive set.
I think it's really good to come out here and be aggressive, as I mentioned earlier, just playing so long today. The more points you can get on the front end, the better.
And it's also huge to take the pressure off of your late game serves, because we saw earlier when Ithaca had to make clutch serves, they were having some issues with them.
That's going to be out.
Ithaca now 2 points away.
We're so close. We're so close.
Nazareth going to have to go on a bit of a run here to get back into this one. They are 10 away. Ithaca only 2 away. Wesley Slavin serving. Ithaca has been phenomenal today when she's serving.
She's got a beautiful float serve that kind of glides just over the net. You don't know if it's going to go short, if it's going to go long, if it's going to hit the net. It just coasts right over.
Kill for Naomi Klaus. That's her 8th kill of the match today.
And now we're at set point.
And she had 11 earlier today. She's 1 away from having 20 kills on the day.
Set point 2, which is such an amazing feeling. 1 more point they got to win.
And for Ithaca, it feels like they're doing the right things right now. Earlier today, we weren't quite seeing that as much.
And actually, speaking of, the supporters that we just saw on the sidelines, we talk so much about these players. I mean, we've been talking about them all day. But why not talk to some people in the stands? We got a camera down there. I'm trying to look and see who we could pick. Do you see anyone that looks fun? I think we could find someone. Let's see. I don't know. There's just so many fans out there. There's so many.
Jack Behan getting ready to do a sideline interview now.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I am joined here, a very, very special interview for me. I'm joined with President Lejeune Cornish, President of Ithaca College. President Cornish, what are you doing out here today?
I'm cheering my Bombers. So I was at the football game. Now I'm at the volleyball game. I went to the field hockey game yesterday. This is a weekend for us, and so I just need to cheer on our students.
Now, it's been a very successful weekend for Ithaca. The football team won earlier. Soccer team won earlier. How did the field hockey team do?
They won yesterday. The finals tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Very, very exciting. So what does it mean to see Ithaca succeeding at the athletic level in such a degree like this?
It means everything. It's Bomber spirit. We are alive and well, and we're very good.
Yes, we are. And I got 2 more questions for you. I need 2 predictions from you. How's the rest of this game going to go? And then next Saturday, Cortica Jug. What's your score prediction?
Woo! All right, we're going to win this game. And we are going to do very well next week. How about that?
I like that a lot. Thank you so much for your time, President Cornish. Back to you guys up in the studio.
Jack, thank you for finding Lejeune. It's so nice to see the president of IC coming out to support the students in athletics here. And I agree with her. I think we're going to take this game home, and then we're going to go and do very well at Cortica. Please.
Yeah. It's not only been a very busy weekend for her, it's been a very successful weekend for the Bombers.
Yeah.
Their athletics have been doing phenomenal right here. Ithaca one match set away from sweeping Nazareth.
We're getting ready to go back on the court. We have 2 sets so far. 1 more, and the game is Ithaca's.
Yeah, and the big thing, earlier we saw Nazareth was able to take the 2nd set away from Cortland. Something that not many people thought was going to happen. Let's see if they have any more fight in them right now.
It's also really easy to get complacent when you have 1 set left, but it's important to keep that drive pushing through. So I'm wondering if this is when Nazareth gets that fire underneath and just pushes it past the point of Ithaca's defense.
Well, they're going to need to get some fire in them if they want to live for another set. But right now, we're underway with a set number 3.
Josie Hansen with that kill right there. Beautiful right in the center of that, like I said earlier, the hole in the middle of the court. If you can get it right there, it's really hard for the back row, and also like communication-wise.
I mean, right now it feels like
Right
Ithaca's
over.
just in the driver's seat, and Nazareth has to respond to how they're playing.
It definitely does. I mean, I think this is what we felt watching the Cortland versus Ithaca, and kind of Ithaca taking that backseat and just trying to control what they were receiving from Cortland. But I feel that in this set, Ithaca has really taken control of the set and is leading in charge.
Getting good looks early and often is usually a key to success. Nazareth with a great job to respond right there. Leads cut in half.
I'm excited to see so many seniors on the court right now. It's that camaraderie, knowing that, you know, it's their last year playing all together, and really wanting to win for those seniors as well on their senior night.
That was a great play there from Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu, perfectly finding that back corner.
I've talked about, I think that is definitely an IC's strategy, is hitting that back corner, and it definitely works. Definitely works for them. And it splits the defense. You know, defense are covering their spots, but slots in between them are open for the taking.
Great recovery there from Nazareth. They were able to block that hit, turn it into a point, and they're able to get that lead cut back down to 1. Let's see if they can tie it up right here.
And also, Josie Hansen with that beautiful dig. As a middle myself, very impressive to be a front row player in the back row and getting such a harsh swing at you and taking that dig and giving a perfect pass. Sadly off the tape and out. Tying it up again.
Tied up at 3 here. It feels like both sets we've had so far, it's been tied early, but Ithaca's been able to pull away. Nazareth kind of has to flip the script if they want to run away with this one. It felt like right there, Ithaca was just right back in that driver's seat. They're playing that one exactly how they wanted to play it. They're able to come away with a point.
I know we were talking about earlier this advantage point that we have. I wanted to get back to on like how, I mean, I love seeing it from up here too, because you can see just both sides of the court and where they're working and their movements opposing each other. I didn't know if you had any thoughts on that, being up here for so long.
I mean, it's like getting the TV view, but you're actually there.
Yeah. It's like getting the drone bird's eye view.
This feels like exactly what sitting at the 50-yard line at a football game feels like. You're just right in the middle of everything, able to see everything so crystal clear. Nazareth with the ace. They take the lead.
And I also feel like this game is so also about height of the ball and height of the jump and angles of the ball. And I think this perspective, we can see, you know, that angle really working.
Nazareth unable to get that ball back. Point for Ithaca. They take the lead back here. and a service error.
There it is. The terrifying magic word.
8th one of this match for Ithaca. They have to clean up their serves if they want to beat Nazareth in a clean sweep here.
If I had a nickel every time you said service error, I think I'd have quite a few nickels. Oh, and that back corner, beautiful.
Great response there for Ithaca. Naomi Klaus, her 9th kill of this match. Her 20th of the day. She had 11 against Cortland.
One thing, too, is coach strategy. I'm watching Coach Tara Stillwell use her clipboard to cover everything she's saying and the plays that she's running against Nazareth. Using that clipboard as kind of a shield just to make sure, Nazareth doesn't pick up on any hints or any plays that they could be running, keeping that surprise at their advantage.
Yeah, and an error there from Naomi Klaus. We're tied up at 7 here. Nazareth, it feels like this set's a little different. Every time Ithaca takes a lead, they're able to respond pretty efficiently.
Yeah, definitely feeling like we're seeing some more swings. We're seeing, a 3-point play rather than scrambling to get that dig up from a kill. Instead, they're playing a more offensive game, and their defense is pulling it back together again.
Nazareth with a 2nd consecutive point there. They have a lead now, 8-7. Let's see if they can build off of it.
Nice tip by Josie Hampton right into the center.
And that's kind of just going back to that deception that they've had.
A lot differently in this game. Beautiful dig by number 12, Gabriela Gonzalez. Oh, I thought we were going to get that block.
Great job there by Nazareth to get the point. Huge point for them. They take the lead back.
See the serve. And that's going to be off the block, but out, so it's still going to be a point for Ithaca.
And that was Naomi Klaus going for the kill there. She's been aggressive all day, and it's great to see that she has not relented on that aggressiveness.
Little spinning on that set, but like we said earlier, they're not quite as picky about the doubles with this new rule.
Yeah, and a hitting error there from Faith Sabatier. She does have 10 kills in this match, so.
Yeah, it's not pretty typical of her. I think that's like the first hit error I've seen from her, but it happens. Ooh.
Another error from Ithaca, and the Nazareth lead is up to 2. I believe that's the largest lead, or at least tied for the largest lead that they've had during this set. They're going to have to keep going off of that if they want to get a point here.
And it's a little nerve-wracking for us considering they got that set on Cortland, doing kind of the same thing, waiting until Cortland got complacent and taking a set away. So
great job there by Ithaca. Yeah. Kind of recovers a broken play right there.
And still able to swing on it, which is huge. Oh, and the crowd goes silent. Oh, my God.
The point is awarded to Nazareth. They go up by 3.
Are you okay, buddy? I know that was not fun. He's also on a tall ladder, so, you can't really dodge the ball when you're on a tall ladder like that.
Stuck in no man's land up there.
If you guys could have seen the crowd, though, everyone was like, Gasp! And just went silent for a few seconds.
And a service error committed by Nazareth.
No, why? Why?
Their 4th of this match, 12th of the match from both teams
I'm
combined.
going to start making some bets on how many we'll have left. Right down the
That
line.
ball got stuck in the rafters for a little bit of a second there.
Okay. Another swing error by Faith Sabatier, but that's all right.
It's back to a 3-point lead for Nazareth, and it feels like when Ithaca's kind of staying down 3, they've been calling timeouts, able to get some of those points back out of the timeout. You have to wonder if one's coming soon from head coach Tara Stillwell.
We call that in volleyball a coach's point when we call a timeout and we're able to get the lead on them.
Ella Graper gets the kill right there. Back down to a 2-point lead.
Nice block by Ithaca, but Nazareth is able to recover from that.
Great hit from Gabriela Gonzalez.
Right in that deep pocket in the corner.
Some authority behind that one.
Definitely working in their favor, hitting those corners. Watching Nazareth's defense kind of creep up out of that corner and just slamming it right there.
Almost a service error right there. Was able to clear the net, however. Point for Ithaca. We're tied up. They didn't even need the timeout.
Really good serve, really tight here. That's gonna make it over. Nice kill by number 5, Jaden Luis.
4-0 run now for the Bombers, and they've taken the lead back. You know, it felt like they were getting a little complacent there. They went down by as many as 3, but they're able to erase the lead and take the lead.
Unfortunately, because Ithaca touched that one before it flew out, it's going to be a point for Nazareth.
We're tied back up, and it feels like another.
It's like we're always tied.
Outside of the service errors today, another huge theme has been tied score.
It's got me on the edge of my seat. A good pass, awarded with a good set. Beautiful blocks. Jaden Lucy with that block right there.
Naomi Klaus coming back in for Ithaca.
Can we get a replay on that? I'm a big fan of the blocks. Can I see it again, please? Yeah, that's not coming on this side of the net at all. Again,
Another
right, back to
great
back.
Block. Ithaca,
Jaden Weezy.
Ithaca with a 2-point lead now, and they've gone on a 6-1 swing here ever since it was 13-10.
Wow, that double block right there was great. Fueled my middle blocker soul.
Klaus with the kill for Ithaca, her 11th of this match, 22nd of the day. She came into this one leading the Bombers in kills. We can see that right now. She's continuing that, and we have a timeout call.
By Nazareth.
So, the Bombers have already clinched the #1 seed in the Liberty League tournament. But let's send it down to Park, where Ryan Harmon mans the big board to break down the rest of the Liberty League standings. Ryan?
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at the Liberty League. Of course, right now, Ithaca is standing on top of this mountain here for volleyball, sitting at 8-0. They are #1, which is fantastic. People here on the South Hill are fired up going into the game today. Let's look more at what else is happening in the Liberty League. Of course, William Smith right now sitting at #2. They're looking at a 7-1 record for this season. Clarkson coming in third with 5-3. Union and RIT. Union's #4, RIT's #5. They're both sitting at 4-4. And let's throw in Skidmore there too. They're 6th overall, but they're also sitting at 4-4. As we start to move towards the bottom here, you can see Vassar College and St. Lawrence. They're both coming in towards the bottom here. Vassar going 3-5 this season. St. Lawrence at 1-7. Bard overall 0-8. As you can see behind me right here, they are standing at the very bottom. But of course today, Ithaca is fired up. We are ready to face off against Nazareth tonight. It's going to be an exciting game for the Bombers, hoping to continue their win streak that they've had within the last couple days. Send it back to you guys.
All right, we are back here in Ben Light Gymnasium, and the Ithaca Bombers have the serve. It's going to be a great start to that call after timeout.
It feels like for the first time today, the team that called us timeout didn't get the first point after coming back.
No, honey, no. Say it.
There's the service error.
Yep.
9th of this match for the Bombers.
Oh, man.
They are getting dangerously close to double digits.
That is not good. That's almost half a set in service errors. Again, trying to push it to that back corner pocket. Not quite getting it where the Bombers wanted it to go. That time, it's going to be just out.
And going back to those service errors, there has been 47 total points scored by Nazareth, and 9 of them have just been handed to them from service errors.
Dang.
That's nearly 20%.
When you put it like that, that really sucks.
And right on cue, yet another service error. 5th one for Nazareth.
Yeah, I feel like these coaches are definitely going to be running some server drills this coming week.
Especially with playoffs looming.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to be making them do some practice serving.
Point for Ithaca. They're now 5 points away from sweeping.
We're at 20.
They were swept earlier today in a very competitive sweep against Cortland. Looking to get a little sweep of their own here against Nazareth. While they do have 9 service errors, they have 8 aces to go with it.
Ooh, ooh. That right there, when the ball comes up like that off of a dig up to the center net, is a middle hitter's dream. It's a perfect set right up on the net. Perfect chance for you to just hop up and swing it right down in the middle again. So very dangerous to put that ball perfectly over the net to your opponent. You're basically handing them a free set.
Nazareth, they're basically gasping for air right now.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, if my opponent was 2 points away from sweeping, I'd also be a little upset.
We saw Ithaca in a little bit of a similar situation earlier today where they were swept, and yeah, it definitely didn't look great for them.
Wow, able to get that ball out of that block and away from the net and over, just not the second time. Nazareth's going to get a chance to get their ball back for the serve.
And that's a big point for Nazareth because they're just keeping Ithaca away from that match point.
I mean, basically, if you give it back to them, they just need one more point after that. And they're going to give it back to Ithaca now. Set point.
They will have to serve it, though. We've seen some serving issues today.
No, please.
Wesley Slavin will serve. She's done a pretty exceptional job serving for Ithaca.
Yes, she is definitely one of our strongest servers today. Beautiful float serve that just moves in the air really well. Very little spin on it. And that's going to do it. Ithaca Bombers win against Nazareth. Wow, what an amazing game. We're going to go down to the sidelines in a few minutes when we're done, obviously. Well, actually, never mind. We're going to go down to the sidelines right now. Jack, are you down there?
Yes, I am, Julia. Thank you. What a win for Ithaca. What a bounce-back win. Great momentum entering the playoffs starting next week. Some stars of the game. Naomi Claus, 12 kills. Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu, 5 kills and 13 assists. And Faith Sebastier, 10 kills. What a win for the Bombers as they look to now enter playoffs and enter Liberty League Conference Championship play, where they will look to three-peat for that title. Back to you guys up in the booth.
So what did you think, Evan? How was it seeing the game from up here? I'm a player, so I have a different perspective, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on the game so far.
Well, I think a big thing for Ithaca, they were able to iron out the kinks that they had earlier today against Cortland. They were just having a bunch of communication issues, a lot of little things, and they just weren't quite doing them right. Felt really good to see them get back on track today with the playoffs right around the corner.
And as a player myself, I love seeing them be more aggressive in this game, really just digging in and making sure that they were communicating with each other to get 3 passes up and a swing.
Yeah, it felt really great to see them get a sweep. And now we're going to send it back to the studio. Take it away, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. You're on it, guys.
Welcome back to Digging In. What a game. Final score being 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, this game was, coming out hot right from the gate. Both teams really wanted it. Ithaca clearly pulled out the win. So, yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah, I think that went about it the exact way we kind of expected it to. We kind of said it could go either way depending on how Ithaca took care of business. And, I think they did exactly that. Like, they went out and they took care of business, and they made it look like a walk in the park for the most part.
Yeah. Now that we know the score, why don't we dive into the details of the game?
You want to start with that, Sarah, actually? Or?
Yeah, sure. So, during this game, I think that Ithaca really did a good job on defense. They had a lot of great passers in the back row. Ellie Benedict was on her game with serving and with passing. And I would even say Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu was a strong force in the back row and in the front row, as well as Naomi Klaus in the front row. So there was a lot of strong people that stuck out. They definitely, have a few things to work on, going forward, but their overall game was pretty solid.
Yeah, and I know we talked in the pregame show too a lot about when we said what they needed to clean up, the exact pieces that needed to be cleaned up, and one of them was service errors. And we mentioned how Ithaca's really struggled with this year, and I feel like this game against Nazareth, they figured out a lot of the moving pieces that needed to be put together and fixed, except for the service errors. We kind of talked about in the recap, 9 service errors for Ithaca to Nazareth's 4. So, the problem is if you have 9 service errors against a team like Cortland, that loses you the game probably. Nazareth against Nazareth, it's not as profound. It kind of goes a little bit more under the radar. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Nazareth did a really great job with their momentum. They had a lot of scrappy plays as opposed to Ithaca was a little bit more composed and structured with their plays. But, both teams did a great job. There's a lot of long rallies, a lot of points that went on for a little bit longer than we usually see in volleyball, so that was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. You guys have any details of the serving, what Ithaca could do better on their serving?
It's for me. I don't have the same volleyball expertise that you guys might, but serving. As long as the ball gets over the net. It's better than not getting the ball in play at all. I know we had mentioned just watching the game, you have the advantage when you're serving, and when you have the advantage, you have to use that. To give away the advantage as easily as they have been, like I said, against a team like Cortland, that's going to come back to bite them, I think.
Yeah, I think it's all consistency. So why don't you guys share your top players and plays of the game? Sarah, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I feel like a broken record, but I'm gonna say Naomi Klaus. She all day today has been just dominant in the front row, using a lot of different hits, like different spots. She's very versatile. She tipped a lot too in this game, which is really cool. It confuses the other team. I mean, nobody saw anything coming. And then I would say, on the other hand, Nazareth definitely had some highlights too. One thing that I noticed for sure about them was that they capitalized on the fact that Ithaca's libero was out of the game for a second, because the libero has to come out when the middle's serving. So when the middle hitter was in the back row, Nazareth really capitalized on that and shot it right back to her, which, you know, middles are notoriously not the best in the back row. It's not their strong suit. So that was a really smart play on Nazareth's end by, you know, forcing that middle hitter to try to play a little bit of defense.
Yeah, and I think on the other side of that, the more surprising key piece that we talked so much in the pregame show about that we didn't really see today was Lana Lucy. I mean, Lucy only had 2 kills the entire match. We didn't really see her on defense at all. Sarah, at one point you didn't even think Lucy was in the game yet, and we both agreed, have we even seen her on the court?
Yeah.
Because that's how quiet of a game she had, and I don't know if that's necessarily against her, just the rotations they were stuck in today. But, I mean, that definitely plays a key piece as well, because we talked about how big of a defensive presence she is and how she would match up against the front row of Ithaca. And I don't really think we got to see her showcase herself and the potential that we thought she would have today.
Yeah, no, I know. It definitely was unfortunate not to see her as dominant as we thought. And, you know, another player that I think it's important to highlight, you know, she deserves a little recognition, is Maddie Cox. She came in this game as the second setter after Wesley, and she did a great job with everything that she contributed to the game. Her sets were great, and she utilized all of the hitters in the rotation.
Yeah. After such an impressive win, how do you guys think this will affect Ithaca in their playoffs?
Yeah, I think this is huge for Ithaca. It's a huge weight off the shoulders. I mean, you lose that first game, and you got to be thinking about, you know, like going into play. Like, we can't go into playoffs with a loss. We need to go with a win. So that was a big piece for them. But
yeah.
Thank you all again for tuning in for our coverage of Ithaca women's volleyball and digging in with us here in Studio A. We're done. That didn't feel like an ending.
yeah.
I didn't say it like